Hey everyone, my name is Pratik. Did you know there are chemicals that never break down in our environment? Let's dive into the story of PFAS through a presentation aptly titled Forever Chemicals, a Fry Box Story. Think about the last time you grabbed a box of French fries. The fries are hot, salty, and greasy, but somehow the paper box doesn't fall apart. That's not magic, it's chemistry. For many years, food wrappers have been coated with special man made chemicals that stop grease from soaking through. These chemicals belong to a family called per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAs for short. People often call them forever chemicals because once they're made, they don't easily go away. They stay in the environment and even in our bodies. In this video, we're going to explore what PFAS are and how they can move from wrappers into food, why they matter for our health, and what can be done to make food packaging safer. Now let's get into the science. PFAS stand for per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, like I said before. Now that's a mouthful, I agree, but it simply means a large group of man-made chemicals that share one important feature. They resist water and oil. This property makes them very useful in food packaging, where companies want wrappers to stay strong even when they touch greasy foods. Two of the most common examples are perfluorooctanoic acid, or PFOA, and perfluorooctane sulfonate, or PFOS. These chemicals act like invisible shields on paper and cardboard, creating a barrier that prevents oil and grease from leaking through. Because of this, PFAS have been widely used for decades in fast food wrappers, burger boxes, pizza containers, and even microwave popcorn bags. While this sounds convenient, there's a hidden side to these chemicals that's important to understand. Now let's put the two and two together. How do PFAS move into food? Imagine the fries steaming inside their paper box. The heat makes the chemicals more likely to move, and the oil acts almost like a sponge, pulling PFAS out of the wrapper and into the food. Scientists call this migration, which means chemicals move from packaging into the food. Even if the amounts that get into one serving of fries are very small, the problem is that PFAS don't leave the body once they're there. Unlike vitamins or minerals that get used up or passed out, PFAS tend to stick around. That means every little bit adds up, and over time, the exposure can be meaningful for our health. Now, you may also ask, why does it matter? The reason PFAS are called forever chemicals, again, is because our bodies cannot break them down or get rid of them easily. So when we eat food that contains PFAS, the chemicals build up little by little, like stacking bricks on top of each other. And unlike other things in our bodies that eventually break down or recycle, these bricks just keep piling higher. Over months and years, that buildup can cause problems. Studies have linked PFAS exposure to hormone disruption, which is like scrambling the body's text messages. They can weaken the immune system, making our shields against sickness less effective. PFAS exposure has been connected to developmental problems, meaning it could affect how kids grow and learn. Over long periods, PFAS have even been associated with higher risk of certain cancers like kidney cancer. These are big concerns, especially when you think about how often people eat foods like fries, burgers, or pizza in coated wrappers. What makes PFAS especially tricky is that you can't see them, smell them, or taste them. When you look at a French fry box, it just looks like normal paper. Parents and kids don't usually think about chemicals when they order food. That means most families are unaware that something as ordinary as a fry container could be a source of chemical exposure. Because PFAS are invisible and long-lasting, they don't feel like an immediate threat, but that's what makes awareness so important. Once people know what PFAS are and how they behave, they can start making better choices about the packaging their food comes in. The good news is that solutions are already being developed. Families can take simple steps to reduce exposure, like choosing products labeled PFAS-free, moving food out of its wrapper before reheating, or supporting brands that are switching to safer packaging. At the same time, scientists are working hard in the lab to design new coatings that do the same job as PFAS but without the risks. These alternatives include materials made from starch, chitosan, alginate, or nanocellulose, natural substances that can resist grease but are safer for people and the planet. Some coatings are already being tested and used in small ways, and as technology improves, they could become the standard in food service packaging. This shows that science can solve real-world problems by finding safer and more sustainable answers. What looks like a simple paper box can actually affect the food we eat and even our long term health. By learning about forever chemicals today, we can make smarter choices as families, as consumers, and as a community. Thanks to science, safer solutions are already on the horizon. Together, we can reduce our reliance on PFAS and make food packaging both safe and sustainable for the future. So, the next time you eat French fries, remember the wrapper matters too. Thank you.